single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day I'm gonna make something.
Hey everyone, it's me, Steph Smith, that one crazy teacher. Today is December 10th, the 10th day of Vlogmas. It is Saturday, so I am outside. So if you hear the cars and noises and stuff, that's why. I'm hopefully not going to pause and make it weird, but I might. And by that, I meant because I never put the camera back exactly how I had it, but you know, it is what it is. But I just had a really, really noisy diesel truck go by, as well as a person walking by the house, and they were singing, so it was awesome, but I don't want to get copyrighted. I'm sitting on my front porch and my chair rocks, so that's why I'm kind of rocking, but I have notes to make sure I don't get off task. Today, I would like to talk to you about like my journey through education, of where I started and how I got to where I am now. So I am entering in my 9th year of teaching, or I'm halfway through my 9th year of teaching. 10th year in education, unless you count substitute teaching, and then it's more than that. But I wanted to be a teacher since I was 2. Sorry, I think there's a little gnats or something out here, so I might end up going back inside, but for now I'm going to stay out here. But anyways, I wanted to be a teacher since I was like 2. And then in high school, I took advanced child development, which is for elementary school. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an elementary school teacher. I wanted to teach 4th or 5th grade, maybe 3rd grade at the youngest. But that's what I wanted to do. And then I went to college right out of high school. But halfway through, I went to like commuting, because I was going to university in a different town than I lived in, so I was commuting and it was really hard, so I got transferred to the community college that's right down the street, like not technically down the street, but you know, like it was closer to home. It was not that far to go. So I went to the community college, and then I ended up losing my scholarship at the end of that semester because I had a death in the family. My aunt/sister, she found out she had breast cancer, and within 2 weeks she passed away. So I wanted to be there for her when she was put on hospice. Well, I went to go visit her in the hospital, and then in hospice, and then and she passed away. And most of my college professors understood, but I had one or two, well actually one, that didn't, and he failed me. And I went to the dean to fight it, and I lost. So I lost my scholarship because I had to have a certain GPA, and that killed it. I didn't fail. I failed the final. So my grade went from like an A to a C, and the singing person's coming back by. Hold on. So anyways, it took my GPA from just slightly below a 3.5. I had to have 3.5 or higher, and I lost my scholarship because of that. So then I ended up moving over that summer back to the town where the university is, and it's literally like maybe 20 minutes apart, depending on how fast you're driving, technically. But it's not that far, like the town I grew up in and with the community college versus the other town that has the university. So I moved there. I was paying for my own place, and I had a job. It was a part-time job, but then I was also paying for college. And then it was very difficult because the job I had was in the town I grew up in. So once again, I was commuting, and my job was supposed to work around my school schedule, and they weren't. They scheduled it where I was supposed to be at work right after one of my classes, and there was not enough time to get there without being late, so I was having to leave school early, and it was becoming difficult to keep up because and I worked for a big box store. I'm not going to say names because I don't want to get in trouble on here, but I worked for a big box store. so to speak, and it was just it was difficult. It was very, very difficult because I was still grieving. I was just moved out on my own for the first time, going through relationship stuff and school stuff, and it was difficult to keep up. And the big box store was working me basically full-time hours for like 2 weeks, and then part-time for the third week, and then back to full-time, and then part-time, so that way they didn't have to give me full-time benefits, because I had talked to people that had been there for a while, and they said, yeah, that's how they keep you on part-time. So I ended up having to drop out of school. Unfortunately, when I did, I was not able to really get a refund at all of any of the money I sunk into it, which sucked. And I was really enjoying my classes. I had A's, but I was starting to struggle and get behind, so I knew I was not going to be able to maintain that GPA and try to get back my scholarship. So I had to make the decision to drop out, because at that time moving back in was not an option. And one day I might share more of my personal life. I don't, like, for that instance, but I'm not right now. But ended up working, and then I got married, and then I found out that I could get grants. So then I started going to school part-time and working that same word schedule. Then the big box store, because my husband and I were living in an apartment, and a couple coworkers lived in that apartment, and we would talk since we lived in the same apartment complex, and we didn't really hang out with them or anything like that, but because there was some shady stuff that they had done, the work was accusing me of doing it, even though I've never proved to them otherwise that I was not trustworthy. I have family that worked for the same store and everything like that. So my husband's like, just quit. So I got work steady. I continued to go to school until I couldn't take any more credits at the community college. And then I was working different jobs. And then I ended up losing my job. At that point, Greg had lost his job too. And then he found another job, but that cut his hours. Our vehicles had shut down. We're having vehicle problems. One of them was broken down. We get it fixed. Then the other one would break down, and it was just really difficult at that time. And then we were staying at a family home, and then the person who was letting us stay there, of course, I took at the word and didn't get it in writing. There's a big wasp that just flew by, so just a second. Okay, it went away. I just want to make sure it didn't come up here, and I didn't not pay attention and hit it, and then it sting me. Hold on, there's an airplane going over now. Okay, but anyways, the family house that we were staying at, the person called me on my birthday and said I had till the end of the month to get out. That literally gave us 3 days. So that was, that's drama in itself. And like I said, eventually, maybe one day I'll share a lot of that background. But for now, I'm not going to do that yet. And then, so we ended up we didn't have a place to go. So we were able to get storage unit and move everything into the storage unit. And then my in-laws let us stay with them. I ended up getting a job at the hospital where my father-in-law worked, and then started going back to school part-time. Then I found out I was pregnant with my son, doing the mom thing, work thing, and school, was keeping up my grades. And then I ended up getting a different job, and then I got pregnant again. And it was very difficult pregnant with my daughter. So being pregnant, having a little one, going to school and working was not working out. So I was going to quit school again until the kids got older. But my husband and I sat down and we looked at who's closer to finishing their college, and that, no, we need I just stepped on a sticker. Ow, that hurt. I'm sorry. But anyways, that who needs to finish their school who's closer. So he decided that he was going to work full-time because he knew we couldn't both work part-time and then go to school part-time and have 2 children under the age of 2 technically, because my children are a year and 4.5 months apart. So anyways, we did that. I quit. I went to school full-time. I took out student loans so it could afford for me to stay home with kids. And then I graduated in December. It just took a couple of years just to finish up everything. But because it was December, it was hard to find a job. And so I took a couple grad schools, or grad courses, I should say. And honestly, while I regret the loans, I don't regret being able to stay home with the kids and getting my degree. But at the same time, they're killing me now. But I kept interviewing for jobs for teaching. And the question was always, okay, well, let me backtrack a little bit. So I said I wanted to do elementary school. Then in college, I had an epiphany, kind of awakening thing. Somebody drove by and just waved. And I also hurt my finger this morning. It was not focusing, but it bent backwards, so I had to cut my fingernails. But I changed my degree from elementary school because I realized that was not where God was leading me to go. That's not where I wanted to be anymore. So I changed to secondary, changed to history, and because of that, it was harder to find a job because I wasn't a coach. And in the area where we were at, they really wanted you to be a coach. So I had to end up getting a full-time job. My husband and I started at a call center for McDonald's at the same time. And I worked there for a little over 3 years. And then I ended up trying, I kept trying for teaching positions. So then I decided, okay, fine. I'll try a classroom assistant position. And I ended up getting a behavioral assistant. So I worked at an alternative education placement program for students that were behaviors. They got in trouble at school, kind of expelled, and our job was to, get them back on track and send them back or keep them, but educate them at the same time. I worked there for a little over a year, and then my boss was in there talking to one of the other teachers who at that moment, the teacher I was working with didn't have any kids on his side. So we had middle school and the high school side, and I was in the middle school side. And then, hold on. So he was subbing for the gifted position because they needed one in middle school. And she's like, I just need a licensed teacher who's willing to take the courses needed and the test. And I said, I said, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to put myself in your guys' conversation or anything like that, but I'm a licensed teacher. I'm willing to take more classes and test. I'm interested. And she was completely unaware because it was a different person in her position the year before when I was behavior assistant originally. So she didn't know. Otherwise, she would have asked me before school even started. So anyways, I got that position, taught gifted for 4 years, 1 year in middle school, and then they moved me up to the high school because at that time they had made middle school grades 6 through 12, and my license was 7 through 12. So because of that, they had to move me up. And then, and I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. So yeah, after 4 years of that, and I loved it. I still love my gifted kids, and I try to talk to as many of them as often as possible. I do miss them. I do miss teaching gifted. But there was some uncertainties going on with the position because it was considered ESE, but not at the same time. And then some schools were doing away with programs, some were not. So we weren't sure if the district was going. There's some people about to walk by here in a minute. That's what I was looking at. Okay, it looks like they're not going to. Okay. But anyways, that's the main thing is if there's a loud car going by or somebody's walking by because they're singing or something like that. So, but anyways, there was some uncertainty there. There was some things going on with the kids at their schools, and my son wanted to be a marine biologist, So we're like, okay, there's going to be more opportunity here. We looked and we knew like we needed to make a change with how things were going. So we made the decision to move here. And then my husband was going to stay there in New Mexico for another year, and the kids and I were going to move here. Well, the two of the kids. So we moved here. I subbed for a year. Then I ended up getting a position at a middle school, and I was teaching 7th grade English, 6th grade world history, and credit recovery. Then I ended up getting to a different middle school, taught 6th grade English. The pandemic happened. Everything shut down. It was really difficult, and I lost that position. And I'm not going to go into details because I still feel like I shouldn't have, but it is what it is, and it happened for a reason. And then I got interviewed and accepted the position for what I'm doing now, which is an ESE or special education teacher for the behavior support unit, and I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade English, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade history, all 3 grade levels for learning strategies, as well as unique skills, and unique skills is social emotional. But I'm basically teaching I keep hearing a weird noise, and I was trying to see what it was. I'm teaching a couple of subjects at one time. I love my parrot to death. She is fantastic. She's, and like I said, this is my 3rd year. I intend to stay teaching there in that position as long as they keep asking me back, and I keep her as my para then until she retires, which is in 7 years. So then that would be like 10 years working with her. And then I'll probably be like, well, I'll be an instructional coach, staffing specialist, or consulting teacher. I don't know if I'll go back and just be a regular ESC teacher or what. I'm not even sure, because it's going to be hard. I might stay in that position, but it'd be hard to work with somebody else after working with her for 10 years, and we're such an amazing team and just get along so well. But I was asked that I would address it. Would I ever quit teaching? And I'm going to be completely honest. Yeah, I would. If I could financially afford to quit teaching, I probably would. I know a lot of teachers who have stopped teaching because of all the different things going on within the educational world, as well as the lack of support. Not necessarily from administration, because we have a great admin team this year at my school, but it's just a lot of the other things that are going on in the different components, and it's not just in my district. My district's actually fantastic, so it's not gotten to the point where I've seen other places around the nation, but it's very stressful, my position anyways, because I have 8 different subjects I'm teaching, plus behavior intervention plans, plus IEPs, plus FBAs, functional behavioral assessments, all the different data tracking things for academics as well as behavior, as well as the other ESC parts of it. And it's a lot. And there's a lot of other stuff going on personally. And so, like last year I thought I was having a stroke, and I'm pretty sure it was like the stress that was caused the complex migraine. My mom still thinks it wasn't just that. It was like a pseudo, or a small, tiny, we call it pseudo, the kids and I do, but as a small migraine, or not small migraine, small stroke that was like basically undetectable by a lot of the tests, but I don't know. But honestly, if I could financially quit, but unless I win the lottery or something else, then I'm probably going to be doing this job, teaching, or doing something in education until I am old and grayer. So I'm already a little gray in my temples especially. But don't get me wrong, I love my position. I love teaching. I'm a person who's always said I'm going to teach until they force me to retire. Some of these other teachers that have quit, they find fulfillment in other jobs, and I've not found fulfillment in any other jobs I've held. None of them, except for, you know, being a mom. But unless I could just financially stay home, I'm gonna stay teaching. I don't have a side gig that's successful. I've tried a couple different ones, not been successful. But I'm not happy at any other job but teaching. So anyways, that is, yeah, I mean, like I said, unless I hit the lottery, or I keep talking about writing books, because I have a billion ideas and I start, but I just don't find time or make time to finish working on them. So if I ever do and I successfully publish them, then maybe that could be my little side gig or something. I don't know, but I doubt it. I'm probably going to teach forever. So, you know, I'm that one crazy teacher. So I'll probably be that one crazy teacher forever. So that is it. That is my journey, going from being 2 years old, wanting to teach, going to, you know, figure out I want to do elementary, to figure out I want to do secondary history, to, yeah, just gifted, to regular ed, to ESE behavior. So that is it. And if you have any other questions, just leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to make another video to address those. But yeah, so that is it for now. I hope that you enjoyed. Have a great day, and God bless.
And if you like this video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe.